The fridge freezer in your kitchen right now is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year. It never switches off, and you never think about it. Because a fridge freezer is supposed to be invisible. It is supposed to just work. Your grandmother's fridge worked for 25 years. The big white box in the garage your parents never replaced was still humming in 1998 on the same compressor it left the factory with. That was not exceptional. That was standard. The fridge freezer the sales assistant pushed you towards at Curry's last year was built to a different specification entirely. The compressor inside it was engineered with a mean time to failure that the manufacturer calculated before it was assembled. They know when it will stop. They factored that date into their parts supply chain, and they designed the pricing of those replacement parts to ensure that when the failure arrives, the maths always point you in one direction towards a new machine. The repair bills on many of today's mainstream fridge freezers run between £300 and £600 on a machine that retailed for £500. A broken compressor, a failed control board, an ice maker assembly. The manufacturer stopped stocking parts for 3 years after production ended. The machine is written off not because it cannot be fixed, but because the manufacturer made the economics of fixing it identical to the economics of replacing it. That is not a coincidence. That is the product roadmap. Today we name the brands doing it, and then we tell you the 5 that are not. Before we dive in, comment where you are watching from and click subscribe. The UK fridge freezer market is one of the most consolidated in the world. Arçelik, the Turkish group, owns Beko, Hotpoint and Indesit. Haier, the Chinese giant, owns Hoover and Candy. The BSH group owns Bosch, Siemens and Neff. Electrolux owns AEG and Zanussi. Samsung and LG operate independently. 6 corporate structures produce the overwhelming majority of every fridge freezer on display in every major UK retailer. When that level of consolidation exists, the competitive pressure to build something genuinely better disappears. The brands are not competing for your lifetime loyalty, they are managing a replacement cycle. And that cycle has shortened from 15 to 20-year machines in the 1980s to a real-world average of 5 to 8 years for budget and mid-range models. There is also a specific British vulnerability that almost nobody talks about. UK households run more secondary fridges and freezers than almost any other European market. The unheated garage freezer, the drinks fridge in the utility room, the second fridge loaded up every Christmas. Every manufacturer warranty contains exclusions for operation outside specific ambient temperature ranges. An unheated British garage in January falls well outside those ranges on most models. The machine fails, the warranty is void, and the consumer never knew the coverage had a geographical boundary inside their own home. The Consumer Rights Act gives you 6 years of statutory protection on paper. In practice, after the first 6 months, the burden of proof transfers to you. You must demonstrate the fault was present at manufacture. You are not a materials engineer. The manufacturer has legal teams. Trading Standards has neither the resource nor the mandate to pursue individual consumer appliance complaints. You are largely on your own. This ranking is built on 4 things. Long-term failure data from Which? Magazine's annual appliance surveys covering thousands of UK owners across 7 years of ownership. Feedback from independent UK repair engineers, the people working on these machines after the warranty expires. They see what the showroom never shows you. Parts availability and pricing data, because a machine is only as repairable as its parts supply. Compressor failure matters because when a compressor fails, the machine is usually beyond economical repair. Some of the brands on the worst list would strongly prefer this video did not exist. That is the correct outcome. In 1965, a British family's refrigerator was a white steel box with a single compressor, a single thermostat, and nothing else. No ice maker, no water dispenser, no digital display, one moving part of consequence. It ran for 30 years. Mechanics could fix anything that went wrong with standard tools and parts that cost almost nothing. The machine was engineered to outlast the mortgage on the house it sat in. Then 2 things happened simultaneously, and they ruined everything. The global appliance industry consolidated into a small number of corporations whose engineering decisions were no longer driven by long-term reputation, but by quarterly earnings targets. manufacturers discovered that complexity, including ice makers, water dispensers, inverter boards, smart connectivity, and multiple cooling zones, was the most effective mechanism for generating service revenue, because complex systems have more failure points, and consumers often equate complexity with quality. An ice maker assembly is mechanically one of the most unreliable components ever bolted into a domestic appliance. It breaks constantly. It requires expensive service calls. Ice makers are responsible for roughly 50% of all fridge-freezer service calls according to independent repair data. They were not added because you needed ice at home. They were added because they created a sustainable stream of repair revenue and shortened the economic lifespan of the machine. The compressor is the other half of the story. When a modern inverter compressor fails, it often takes the electronic inverter board with it. The combined replacement cost typically runs between £400 and £700 including labour, on a machine that costs £500. That is not a repair. That is a forced upgrade. The company that sold you that fridge made the calculation that your repair needs in year 6 are not economically worth accommodating. That calculation was made before they sold you the machine. Worst number 1. Samsung makes genuinely beautiful appliances. The American-style fridge freezers, the French door models with the family hub display, and the brushed steel finishes. If you want your kitchen to look like it belongs in an architectural magazine, Samsung delivers. The showroom experience is excellent and nobody disputes that. The problem is what happens between the 3rd and 7th year. Samsung has faced multiple class action lawsuits in the United States, with the most recent filed in late 2025, alleging that refrigerators stop cooling without warning due to compressor failures. Hundreds of complainants describe the same pattern. The fridge cools normally, then stops, food spoils, engineers are called, compressors are replaced with the same component, and the failure recurs. In the UK Which magazine's July 2024 survey placed Samsung among the lower reliability performers in long-term ownership. Outside major cities, authorised Samsung repair engineers are scarce. Parts lead times on discontinued models are long. And Samsung in the UK has a customer service record based on independent reviews and consumer forum data that is not the premium experience the purchase price implies. The ice maker is the specific component engineers describe as Samsung's most persistent failure point. It fails at rates that would embarrass any manufacturer genuinely committed to long-term reliability. The verdict: it looks extraordinary. After the 4th year, it stops being extraordinary. Worst number 2. LG. LG's linear compressor technology was genuinely innovative, quieter, more energy efficient, and with fewer moving parts than a traditional rotary compressor. LG advertised it as a 20-year component. That claim has been the subject of sustained legal challenge. Multiple class action lawsuits allege linear compressors fail well before the advertised lifespan. A 2020 settlement covered LG fridges manufactured between 2014 and 2017. Complaints about the same pattern in newer models continued after that settlement. A further lawsuit was filed in November 2025, alleging LG sold refrigerators with compressors it knew were prone to sudden, total failure. Owners discovering their fridges had reached room temperature overnight with no prior warning. Which magazine UK reliability scores have shown improvement in recent years? The claim that the issue has been resolved may be accurate. The track record warrants caution and verification before purchase. The verdict: the engineering ambition is genuine. The compressor history is a reason to ask hard questions before you buy. Worst number 3. Hotpoint and Indesit. These are one entry because they are effectively one brand. Both are now owned by Arcolic following the completion of their acquisition of Whirlpool's European operations in 2024. They share engineering platforms. In many cases, they share the same components and the same factory. The badge is different. The machine is largely the same. When you walk out of a Hotpoint and into an Indesit thinking you have comparison shopped, you have not. You have just looked at the same product twice. Hotpoint was once a genuinely British brand. The last Hotpoint manufacturing site in the UK, the Yate plant in South Gloucestershire, closed in December 2024 after 104 years of operation. The brand that carries that heritage now manufactures in Italy, Poland and Turkey. Which survey data places both brands consistently in the lower reliability tiers. The fire safety history is the wider context in which their current product quality sits. That history includes over 1 million tumble dryer recalls, a fridge freezer safety notice on the Quadrio model, and a 2025 government product safety report on freestanding gas cookers under the same brands. The verdict? This is a brand living off a reputation it stopped earning some time ago. Avoid. Worst number 4, Hisense. Hisense has become the UK go-to affordable alternative to Samsung and LG. The price point is aggressively low. The features list is long. The Which? Freezer Reliability Survey from July 2024, covering over 3,400 freezer owners, does not produce flattering long-term results. Independent engineers describe the control board as Hisense's most common early failure point. Part supply in the UK is inconsistent. When a PCB fails and the part is unavailable or back-ordered, the machine is written off. On a machine bought for £350, a £180 repair bill that cannot be executed because the part does not exist is the worst possible outcome. The verdict: a low entry price is not a bargain if the machine lasts 4 years and cannot be repaired. Worst number 5, Beko. Beko requires nuance. Independent repair data does not place it at the bottom of the reliability rankings. Engineers broadly regard it as adequate rather than dangerous. I want to be clear about that before explaining why it is on this list. The reason it appears here is ownership and trajectory. Beko is part of Arcelic, the same group that owns Hotpoint and Indesit. Platform sharing and component harmonization across a corporate group is standard industry practice. As Beko's engineering decisions are increasingly made in the same boardrooms as Hotpoint and Indesit's, the reliability gap between those brands is likely to narrow over the next 3 to 5 years. Watch the Which? Data. The gap is closing. There is also the garage problem. Beko's UK marketing emphasises value for British families. British families run second fridges in garages. Most Beko models carry ambient temperature restrictions that exclude unheated UK garages in winter. That warranty exclusion is real, documented, and almost never disclosed at point of sale. The verdict? Adequate for now. The ownership trajectory is a reason for caution on a 10-year purchase. Worst number 6, Currys' own brand. The Logic and Essentials ranges sold exclusively through Currys are made by third-party factories across multiple countries, and they have no fixed quality standard. Data from Which consistently places these machines at the bottom of every reliability ranking. Parts availability is entirely dependent on Currys stocking them, and Currys do not commit to supply parts beyond the statutory guarantee period. The repair infrastructure for these machines is effectively zero. They are designed to be disposed of. The verdict is simple: the cheapest machine in the store is the most expensive machine you will ever own. The numbers on that are unambiguous. Before we get to the 5 brands actually worth buying, drop a comment right now. Tell me the brand, how old it was, and what failed. My prediction is that a significant number of you are going to say the compressor went in year 5 or 6. I am also going to predict that many of you will say it happened just after the warranty expired. That is not bad luck. The manufacturers know exactly when that compressor reaches the end of its calculated lifespan. They set the warranty period to end just before it. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is actuarial engineering. Best number 1, Miele. Miele does not do flashy, it does not do affordable. A mid-range Miele fridge freezer costs between £1,200 and £2,000, and it will run for 20 years. Miele tests every appliance to 20 years of use before it leaves the factory. That is an engineering standard that is audited and published. It is one of the only brands in the industry to provide this data transparently. The compressor is overbuilt for the application. Door seals are engineered for a 20-year service life. Parts are available for a minimum of 15 years after production ends. Miele's UK service network delivers engineer response times and first visit fix rates the mainstream brands cannot match. The catch is the price. The maths section below explains why it is not actually a problem. Best number 2, Bosch. Bosch occupies a position that is difficult to find elsewhere in the UK market: genuinely reliable. widely available, reasonably priced, and backed by a service infrastructure that functions. A Bosch fridge freezer between £500 and £900 is one of the best value propositions in British refrigeration. Which? Magazine's July 2024 survey places Bosch consistently in the upper reliability tier for fridges with a statistically meaningful sample. Independent engineers describe it as a machine they're comfortable working on. Parts availability from BSH Group is strong. The compressor track record is good. The control board failure rate is lower than the market average. One caveat: avoid the feature-heavy models. The simpler Bosch fridge freezers without a water dispenser and without an ice maker are the ones that earn the reliability reputation. If you add an ice maker, you introduce the most failure-prone component in modern refrigeration. Best number 3, Siemens. Siemens and Bosch are sister brands within the BSH Group, sharing engineering platforms, components, and manufacturing facilities. Siemens sits slightly higher in price and specification. The reliability track record is identical. If you're choosing between the two at similar specifications, choose on price and aesthetics. The machines are functionally the same. Best number 4, AEG. AEG is owned by Electrolux, which also owns Zanussi. Unlike the Hotpoint and Indesit situation, AEG occupies a genuinely differentiated engineering platform within the Electrolux group. The build quality is meaningfully higher than Zanussi. The component specification is better. The reliability data shows it. Which fridge survey data from 2024 places AEG in the upper reliability tier? AEG also offers something almost unique in the mid-premium market: no ice maker in the vast majority of its standard range. That is not a deficiency, that is a feature. Removing the most failure-prone component from a refrigeration appliance makes it more reliable by definition. Best number 5, Liebherr. Liebherr is a German independent manufacturer that most British consumers have never heard of. It manufactures its refrigeration appliances in Germany. It has not been acquired by a global conglomerate, and its production has not been moved to minimise cost. It is still doing the thing it was built to do: make high-quality refrigeration equipment. For qualifying models purchased from 2024 and 2025 onwards, Liebherr offers a 10-year manufacturer's guarantee. That is not the 2-year statutory minimum. That is the company betting its own money that the machine will last. Frost-safe technology distributes cold air evenly, reducing temperature cycling stress on the compressor. The insulation is thick and genuine. There is one catch. Outside major UK cities, Liebherr authorised engineers are not as numerous as Bosch's network. Check service availability in your postcode before you buy. The machine is worth it. Just make sure someone can get to it when you need them to. Rule 1. Avoid the ice maker. Ice makers account for roughly 50% of all fridge freezer service calls. They're expensive to repair, often proprietary, and frequently unavailable as spare parts on discontinued models. If you need ice at home, buy a countertop ice maker for £40. It will break eventually. It will not cost you £500 when it does. Rule 2. Check the climate class before you put it in the garage. Every fridge freezer sold in the UK carries a climate class rating SN/NST-T, indicating the ambient temperature range within which it operates under warranty. A machine-rated SN or N is only certified for spaces above roughly 10 degrees Celsius. A British garage in January does not stay above 10 degrees Celsius. It is on the spec sheet. It takes 30 seconds to check. It will save you a very expensive argument with a warranty department. Rule 3. Search the model number before you buy, not on the retailer's website. Check which magazine, money-saving expert forums, Trustpilot. The reviews on a Currys listing are from people who received the delivery intact and found the shelves easy to adjust. The long-term reliability picture is in the forums. 15 minutes of research before spending £600 is not excessive. Option 1. A mainstream fridge freezer from the worst list. Call it £500. Real-world lifespan, 5 to 7 years. The compressor fails. Repair quote: £350 to £500 beyond economical repair. You spend another £500. 5 years later, the same thing happens again. Over 15 years, 3 machines, 2 call-out charges, food spoilage losses on the occasions the failure is not immediately detected. Total comfortably over £1,800. Option 2, a Bosch at £650, real-world lifespan 12 to 15 years. 1-door seal in year 9 at £90, total over 15 years, £740. Option 3, a Miele at £1,400, designed lifespan 20 years. No major component failures in that period is the design intention, not the aspiration. Total over 20 years, £1,400 plus minor maintenance. The meal costs almost 3 times the mainstream machine. Over 20 years it costs less than 2 mainstream machines. The expensive fridge is the cheap fridge. The cheap fridge is the expensive fridge. Nobody puts that calculation on the display stand. The industry is counting on you to look at the sticker price and stop doing the maths there. The mainstream fridge freezer, sold to British families today, is a machine engineered to a lifespan that makes replacement inevitable within a window the manufacturer planned before it left the factory. The ice maker was added because it generates service revenue. The compressor specification was selected to meet an energy rating, not to maximise longevity. The parts pricing is structured to make repair uneconomic before most major components fail. Your grandmother's fridge ran for 25 years. The average mainstream machine on a curry shop floor today will be replaced in 5 to 8 years. That is not progress. That is a business model operating at your expense. 6 brands are doing it. 5 are not. Now you know which is which. If this video just saved you from making a £500 mistake, subscribe now and share it with anyone about to buy a new fridge freezer. That is all.